Run scat as well. Yeah, we pointed that out. Did point that out during the game itself. And here we go. We're getting into our next series. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkione, we have the South Korean Terran player representing his new team, representing Cloud9. It is GuMiho. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player representing Dragon Kaizi Gaming. It is herO. We go. herO, of course, being the most recent KSL champion. And we'll see if he can do so again. As so far, we do have GuMiho going for what seems to be a Rax Expand, a standard opener, but what looks to be standard may not always be the case, as it's actually going for a double gas opener instead. So an aggressive start here for GuMiho. GuMiho is a very unpredictable player. He's one of the few players that's willing to play mech against Protoss as well. Just a very wild player to keep track of, and that's why GuMiho is a lot of fun to watch. He's a treat, and again, a big shout out to our Terran player here to be picked up by Cloud9 of all teams. It's kind of weird, right? It's like I feel like Cloud9 has been around for a very long time, and it feels surreal for them to actually have a StarCraft player. It's like, I don't know, who else is like another team from that generation? From like Cloud9 is like second generation of esports team, like maybe TSM sort of era, like 2013, 2014, like I don't know, it feels weird. But I appreciate it. It's really cool to see GuMiho finally on a team, and a really prestigious team at that. Makes plenty of sense. GuMiho, he is the most recent ESL Masters Summer runner-up only to serO, if you remember. And even then, GuMiho versus serO, GuMiho, he made serO bleed. Like that was a pretty intense series and very back and forth. Because of GuMiho's unorthodox style, even serO needs time to adjust and has a hard time keeping up. So yeah, a very valuable pickup, and I look forward to potentially seeing Cloud9 maybe even invest a little bit further. I don't know if they're going to be interested in the next season of WTL. If you remember, WTL is the reason why Team Basilisk signed additional players, why they got a roster of 3 to actually compete in the team league. I'm curious if Cloud9 is interested in that sort of thing, or if they're content only having 1. That's also why Twisted Minds also signed Young Yakov and Nickrat. They have a roster of 3 alongside Classic, just to compete in WTL. So that is something to bear in mind, and it is a possibility for the future. That's of course next year at this point. It's going to be next year, the next season of World Team League. Quite a ways away. As for now, it is going to be, of course, a double gas opener into what looks to be a mind drop variation. I say variation because we're actually being very aggressive here. Hellions and Reapers are going to be moving out. The wall is not a wall. We're going to be trying to bust into the bases here of herO to get some economic damage done. Meanwhile, herO did go for a Stargate opener. With this, he needs to pick up the Hellions. The Hellions are the biggest threats, and here we go. The Reapers, they dive into the main base. Adepts are going to try to keep up. At the same time, Hellions will be threatening that natural. Do end up getting a lift on one of those Reapers. Meanwhile, the Hellions, they get into the natural. Oh! The probes are lining up. 3 workers go down. A 4th worker as well. And we will shut this down, but not without killing 5 probes. That's pretty good, not gonna lie. 5 probes for 1 Hellion and 2 Reapers. A worthwhile trade here for GuMiho, and he still has another Hellion and Reaper alive. At the same time, Mind Drop is coming out. Now, not just a Mind Drop, we have 2 Winter Mines and 4 Marines. As we have mentioned in the past, these are this looks a little bit deceiving, but these Marines can pose a massive threat here to the mineral line. Ideally, you have the Mines to zone away the army, to zone away Adepts and Phoenixes as well, and you have the Marines to focus down as many pros as possible. This can get out of control. We even go, oh my god, we're doubling down on Cloak Banshees. The aggression doesn't end. We start with Hellion Reaper into a Mind Drop into Banshee play. And we'll see if we can get the damage that we're looking for. Adepts, they get across the map. At the same time, here comes the drop into the main. Phoenixes are out of position. Late reaction. Up. No reaction whatsoever. Probes are going to be going down. Massive connections. 14 probes. Oh my god. Forget about the Marines. The mines, they popped off. And finally we cleaned this up. But herO, he sustained far too much damage. Across the map, he commits to the shade. He gets cleaned up. And we aren't done. This was merely the second stage. The second phase of the aggression from GuMiho. Because we still have those Banshees. We still have even more potential for damage. Banshees are going to be moving out. Phoenixes likewise hit the field. Gonna try to get a read on what exactly is going on. herO, he hasn't been able to scout the main base. He doesn't know what's happening. Doesn't know what's coming his way. We're committing. The Adepts, they do commit, but there are too many Marines, too many Cyclones. The Phoenixes, they cannot dive on top of that army. They go straight for the mineral line. They're gonna get some workers. 2 SCVs go down. But we have to respect the Cyclones. We have to respect the Marines. The Banshees, they arrive, and do we have detection? We do not. But we only get 2 probes. Only 2 workers. I feel like we could have gotten more. Instead, we're going to try to retreat. Phoenixes are giving chase. But likewise, as the Phoenixes are pulled out of position, here comes the main army for GuMiho. And herO, he's still on 22. He hasn't been making workers. 22 probes. He's all in. Well, he doesn't even have the economy to be all in. Like, it's... I don't know what the plan is going to be here for herO. He's making Immortals and Sentries, so it's just going to be a ground-based all in here. Yep, there we go. Prism is on the way. It's all or nothing for herO. The economy is non-existent, and we are not making probes. We're not trying to recover. It's going to be one Hail Mary play. One Hail Mary play here from herO. Back at home, we have 3 Banshees. Why do we have 3? That's so much. But we do have 3 Banshees. We have a couple of Cyclones. A Stim is now done. +1 about to kick in. Combat Shields on the way. And GuMiho is getting his 3rd base on location because he can afford to. He is just that much ahead. That far ahead even. Not a good start. No, the sentries get caught out. 3 of them go down. Not the best start to the all-in. But there's no turning back. We have to commit. There's no other way about this. Immortals to drop good target firing here on some of the Banshees. Force fields are thrown down as well, forcing back some of the army, but there are just so many Marines, so many Cyclones and Banshees, and the army is forced back. There's nothing left outside of these Immortals. 1 goes down. GG gets called, and GuMiho will take game number 1. Ooh, just snowballing out of control in the early game, into the mid game. Just non-stop aggression, and obviously what did seal the deal there was the mine drop. I mean, there was just so much chaos going on there that herO was having a hard time keeping up. Started with the Hellion Reaper, continued with the mine drop, and then ended at the end there with those Banshees as well. Remember, the mine drop, it killed 14 probes, 14 workers. That is insane. And just a lapse in judgment, delayed reaction out of herO did cost him everything. And with that, GuMiho is going to be up 1-0 in this series, and we're going to be getting into game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. Oh, yep. I see in the chat. Fnatic. Fnatic did have a StarCraft team, to be fair. Am I crazy? I want to say, did Fnatic have... They had a European roster, right? They had... Oh my god. Was it a French player? Fnatic, not Nurture. Nurture's Polish. Daishi? Was Daishi on Fnatic? I'll double check. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Hecate, we have the South Korean Terran player leading the series 1-0. It is GuMiho. And spawning in the bottom left, we have his opponent currently down in the series, looking to fight back, representing DragonKy Gaming. It is herO. Am I crazy? I'm pretty sure Daishi was on Fnatic, right? Let's double check. Liquipedia. I could just look up Fnatic, but I'm going to look up Daishi specifically because I don't know why, but his name does come to mind. No, he was on Millennium. Who was on Fnatic? Or was no one on Fnatic? Let's have a look. It was... Who am I thinking of? Zanstar, that's it. Not Daishi. Zanstar, a lot of players were on Fnatic. Zanstar, Nighten, Nee was on Fnatic for a while. Rain, they had a Korean roster alive. Let's go. But yeah, for those who don't know, Fnatic did have a StarCraft roster back in Heart of the Swarm. I do remember watching a lot of them. That's also why Fnatic is like, whenever I would see like an international or like another esport, I'd be like, oh hey, I know them. They used to be in StarCraft. I'm pretty sure they originated in StarCraft, or at least, you know, before the other esports. They were first in StarCraft, then the others. NIP, that's Ninjas in Pajamas. They did not have a StarCraft roster. I do know that. NIP, they're a little bit newer, right? A little bit of a newer team. Like, I say newer, I'm talking like 2014, 2015 sort of thing. Back when those big teams were actually present in StarCraft. Well, I mean, they started in StarCraft. Like, they were... This is before they branched out into, like, the other esports. We were talking about Cloud9 having a roster, by the way. That's the context. I was curious, or like it was just feeling weird seeing one of those a team that's been around for a long time but just never invested into StarCraft. Cloud9 was one of them for a long time. Now they're in. Which is, of course, amazing to see. As we get into this, once again, a double gas opener, faster factory out of GuMiho, an aggressive build here. Once again, it's GuMiho. We want that aggression. And the Adepts are making their way towards that natural base. They're going to be looking to delay the expansion. They can take down the Reapers even. Oh my god. Not a bad trade out of herO. Shuts down some of the Reapers. Does get cleaned up. Behind this, it's going to be a Stargate opener. But this time, it is not Stargate. It is Phoenix's herO. He's doing what he does best. He's going Adept, Oracle. This is very unique to herO, but in this matchup, he can control Adept Oracle like no other, and he can just go to town, and here we go, the Hellions, they do dive in, but the Oracle is back at home to clean this up. How much can we get done? He's going to take a couple of volleys here to kill some workers, and it looks like, oh, it is not going to be enough. The Hellions go down, Adept gets across the map, doesn't get too much done, but herO has map control. We have a second Oracle on the way, and herO is looking to reciprocate what happened in Game 1. Game 1 was brutal, don't get me wrong, and herO, he's angry. He's upset. He's looking to get damage done, and here we go. Both Oracles moving out. Two Oracles, of course, they one-shot workers. We have Adepts on the ground, and Phoenixes behind this. Meanwhile, we have GuMiho at the same time going for a drop. Marine drop is on the way. The wall is a wall, but there's nothing on the low ground. SCV is going to be going down. Mine shot goes off, but alas, Widowmine will be targeted down as well. We get two. We get up. Almost up to 3. We go straight for the Cyclone. And that's going to be a kill on the Cyclone as well. At the same time, the drop does get across the map. Quick reaction out of herO. He does pull back in time. Doesn't lose anywhere near as many probes. He's going to be forced back. He will be losing his Oracles, but he gets 4 worker kills, Marines, Cyclones, and he defends back at home, going straight for a third base. As the dust does settle, herO, he is up in workers, and of course, up in bases as well. I do think he's content with this, but the downside is he did lose the Oracles. Losing the Oracles is a pretty big deal. But we're not done. We are not done, not even close. Once again, Cloak Banshees are on the way. 2 games in a row here for GuMiho. But that's a ways off, and before we can get into Cloak Banshees, herO, he's here once again with 5 Adepts. We will commit to the shade. With the help of these Phoenixes, we can actually lay siege upon these Marines. Oh my god, the Cyclone is going to shut down these Phoenixes eventually, but the Marines are going down. The Adepts are going ham. Boys, they have to be pulled. Oh, more SCVs are falling. Even picking up some extra Marines. We dive into the main base, so we get another 5 SCVs. And we go to full scout. We do get eyes on the Banshee. the Viking drop. Let's go. And because GuMiho has been bleeding out so much, he has to back off. He's throwing down a 3rd CC here back at home. Meanwhile, his opponent's already on 3-way saturation, so GuMiho is 1 step behind. He's now going to be moving out. A bit of a kitchen sink attack. He's got a Viking, a tank, a Cyclone, a couple of Marines. There is no stim with this either, so vanilla Marines. A Banshee, just, yeah, a bit of everything. We'll see how this all comes together here. There is a shield battery that's just about to finish up at the 3rd base for herO. He will have an overcharge. Charge, speaking of, is not done. Uh-oh. Without charge, gonna be difficult to get on top of this army. We dive on forward. That tank getting a lot of hits off. Second tank is on the way. Bunker is thrown down as well. Can GuMiho break the natural? Charge is finishing up in 10 seconds. We're just biding our time. A bunker is on the way. And there we go. Charge has completed. We're going to be diving on this army. We ignore the tanks. We go straight for the Marines, trying to force some friendly fire. I do like this from herO when he shuts down the army, gets on top of the tank, and we'll clean everything up. Again, that was very intentional from herO. He intentionally didn't dive on the tanks. He could have, 100% he could have gone on top of the tanks, but no, he went for the Marines. He forced some friendly fire, cleaned up the Marines first, then cleaned up the tanks instead. And herO is able to pull off the defense. And he is up almost 20 workers. GuMiho is still on 2 bases. And herO, he's doubling down on the aggression. We have a Dark Shrine on the way. I don't think we need DTs, I'll be honest. But sure, why not? Scan reveals that we have a Forge on the way and 2 gases. This tells GuMiho that herO is teching. herO is teching up into something like either Storm or Colossus. Phoenixes move out. They get into the main base. We'll be able to get a couple of these SCVs. We have blue. We're meching. Oh. I did notice all the Cyclones. It was like 20 seconds ago where I panned to the main base. I saw the Cyclones and I saw both of these factories building, and my brain just assumed that they were additional Raxes. Like, my brain initially was like, yo, are we going mech? And I was like, oh no, there are Raxes on the way. No. They were not Raxes, they were factories, papi. And I did mention this before in game 1, how GuMiho is one of the few Terran players out there that's willing to play mech against Protoss. I just said that to say that, because it's true, but I did not expect GuMiho to actually play mech this series. Ay. So fortunate that we did mention that. DTs are going to be getting into the main bases, and a couple of SCVs are going to be going down. Likewise, Banshee's wreaking havoc in the main base as well. Getting 7, oh my god, soon to be 8 probe kills. So both players are hurting in their own way. Oh my god, 1 Banshee for each mineral line, 10 workers go down. This is honestly pretty amazing, like, to get 11, 12, 13 probes. Tying things up, GuMiho's 3rd base may be delayed, but the worker counts are not too far off from each other. So an amazing amount of damage was dealt, but this main army is still a little bit lacking here. We have a couple of tanks, that's true. herO, has he scouted this? He has. He has seen the factories, he's aware. Typically, the way to respond is to go for a gateway heavy composition and immortals to support. We are still making Colossus, which is surprising to me. Colossus, not immortals. Here we go, we are moving out. herO getting ready for a massive warp in. Tanks are unsieged. Uh-oh. GuMiho, now is not the time to unsiege. He's moving out. As he moves out, he gets completely outpositioned. herO comes over behind, goes straight for the natural base. Tanks are not ready for this pieces. They get on top of whatever they can. They pick up every single tank as well. The boys are being pulled, and GuMiho gets completely overwhelmed. GG gets called, and herO ties up the series 1-1. GG. I feel like we were robbed. I feel like we were promised a mech game, but we never really got it. Like, GuMiho, he had a decent army, but he was woefully underprepared, and his army just got completely swallowed up by herO. It wasn't even close. GG. GG, well played. We have a tied up series. We're going to the ace match. We're going all the way to game number 3, and in general, mech is ill-advised against Protoss. It's not the best composition just because there's so much that counters it. Charge lots, specifically charge lots, playing stalkers, a gateway heavy composition can quite handily deal with a mech army. But at the same time, it's usually looking a little bit more competitive than that. It was just very unfortunate that GuMiho missed the army, didn't know where herO was, and happened to be unsieged at the time as well. Caught completely off guard. And with that, we're getting into game number 3. Getting into that third game. There was Hearthstone too. No, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Not Daishi, I was thinking of Hearthstone on Fnatic. True. Yeah, my brain, I don't know why, but I have a distinct memory of, maybe it was a photo, maybe it was a photo on Wikipedia, but I do remember Hearthstone in the Fnatic jersey. Like, that's like a burned image in my mind. But here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of side Delta, we have the South Korean Terran player attempting mech in that last game with mixed success. Representing Cloud9, it is GuMiho. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player fighting back in that series, tying it up 1-1. Representing CranKy Gaming, it is herO. Look, Daishi was tall, Hearthstone was tall, it's fine. Close enough, Babby, close enough. As we are just going to be getting into this. Again, so far, probe getting across, not being a bit of a nuisance. We do have a second probe moving out, though, for a proxy, and this is looking like a proxy, a prime proxy Stargate location. I'm curious. I'm curious if we're going to commit to the Stargate or if we head in a different direction instead. Again, proxy Stargate is not all in by any means. Well, we'll see as the Cybercore is just now thrown down. We have a Zealot on the way. If we have a Zealot on the way, this could be a proxy gateway, actually. We will see. As the probe is being annoying, just getting an eye on, or just getting a read on things. It is going to be a racked expand. There it is, economic opener out of GuMiho. CC's on the high ground, so being very safe, being very conservative with his CC location. But on the way nonetheless, this is perfect for herO, by the way, who is going proxy Stargate. So, because this more economic opener, this means a later factory, it means later cyclones, later tech, and we'll see how much damage herO can get done. As this isn't all in, he should be expanding behind this, should be working on his Nexus as soon as he can. Hellion moves out and up. Oh, he misses it just barely. Just barely does miss the pylon. Doesn't get eyes on the proxy. And herO, we may not even expand. We have a proxy pylon thrown down across the map. Void Rays on the way. Let's go. Show us the shield batteries. Shield batteries are thrown down. We're playing PvT like it's 2021. Let's go. Oh my god. We've gone back in time a couple of years back to when the shield batteries weren't nerfed. It's Moon Dance all over again. It is time to dance in the moonlight. Marines are taking a lot of hits. Now, for those wondering, this is a build that has had a resurgence in recent times. The reason for this is the change to the Cyclone. The Cyclone has significantly less range than it used to because of that. Proxy Void Ray with shield batteries is a lot more powerful. Because of the nerf to the lock-on range, just like that, the Void Ray can lay siege upon that depot. And if GuMiho tries to commit, then he will be exposing his army. He'll be exposing that Cyclone. This depot is going to go down. Behind this, we do not have a starport. Oof. Without a starport, no Vikings. Without Vikings, GuMiho is going to have a hard time defending. Second Void Ray appears. Third Void Ray is on the way. We have a tank coming out. Not another Cyclone. GuMiho just not having the best setup for this. CVs are going down. And how can we engage? How can we engage? Getting a lot of damage done on one of those Void Rays, but does get within range of the shield batteries. Second tank? No shot. I understand that the Cyclone has been changed and obviously it does lack range at the moment, but to not get a second Cyclone is insane. We have another tank on the way. Stim in production here for GuMiho. Actually, GuMiho, he was in the military a couple of years ago. Not too sure how much experience he has with this. Stim is going to be denied. Nah, I think GuMiho was active when this was prevalent. The Marines, they go down one after the other. That is all the anti-air we had left. We have the Cyclone, and it will be targeted down. And just like that, what shoots up? 3 Marines. That is what shoots up. Which means we can camp the production. We can even camp the factory as well. Tech Lab is going to go down. Starport is going to be denied. And the herO, he's expanding right next to him. He's taking his third as his natural. GuMiho cannot engage. He can get within range of these shield batteries. He will slowly whittle away at them, but we're losing every single SCV. Marines are going down one after the other. And as a bit of a PSA if you're a Terran player, and if you face this on the ladder, I do believe that the consensus is that you do need factories. You do need your factories. What? You do need starports. You need Vikings. Vikings more than anything. That is what you need to rely upon. We have a proxy Fleet Beacon and proxy Tempest. Somewhere out there, Roddy is a happy boy. Roddy, he's a happy boy, Papias. Proxy Tempest, you rarely get to see it, but it is here. And without Vikings, without a starports, it's just very difficult to deal with this. Not impossible, but very difficult nonetheless. And at this point, it's gotten out of control. Shield batteries have gone down, but we have more on the way. And we're even going to be mining from this Nexus. Now we up to two Tempests. GuMiho, he is making 2 Vikings at a time, but this may just be too little too late at this point. Far too little too late for these Vikings. As we have tectonic destabilizers, that's what it's called, right? I remember trying to learn it. The Tempest upgrade. It's tectonic something. I think it's destabilizers. As the Tempest are just going ham here on that bunker. Viking count slowly getting higher. You can see that GuMiho, he wants to try to bait the army in with the mine. Mine shot does go up. But on the Stalker and not on the Void Rays. As the Tempest, they can just kite away at whatever they want. They take down the Cyclone. And they're going to be focus firing some of these Vikings as well. An extra Void Ray does go down. You can see the Widowmine's going to try to come in from behind. I appreciate the movement here from GuMiho. But alas, he's just being cornered further and further back into his main base. And yeah, that I don't know what he said. But he did laugh. He did laugh towards the end. GG gets called, and herO will take the series 2-1, taking down and eliminating GuMiho from the tournament. GG. GG, well played. And yeah, we have seen Proxy Starport, Proxy Void Rays specifically, rise up here these past couple of weeks. Nice has done it himself. herO's done it. Classic? Was it no, not Classic. Creator has done it as well. Don't want to confuse Creator with Classic, but yeah, they have been whipping it out every now and then. You know, maybe once every couple of weeks we've been seeing it. It's not the most common build, but does have potential nowadays, especially with the change to the Cyclone, especially if the Terran player isn't rehearsed with the defense, if they're like going a little bit like off the cuff and trying to piece it all together. Like, things can get really chaotic really quickly. And GG, well played. Congratulations to herO as he does take the series 2-1, advancing on to the semi-finals. And we've been following this story to its logical conclusion. You know who else is in the semis? Australia. Up next is going to be herO versus Australia. And we are halfway through the broadcast. We're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we'll have our semis and the grand finals as well. We're getting there. We just wrapped up with all the quarterfinals matches that we had. And we are going on a short break. So again, if you enjoyed, you know, hit that follow button. If you want to support the KSL, !KSL in the chat. And you will get a link to the Patreon to support and to fund this tournament. For those wondering, the KSL, the Korean StarCraft League, it is a league that is funded by the community, for the community. And if you want to be a part of that, if you want to help support the Korean scene, that Patreon is going to be the way to do it. You also gain some benefits if you are interested in replay packs from the KSL. Then you will get them via Patreon as well, so you can learn how to play like herO, Dark, GuMiho, even get some Maru replays. Maru does play from time to time. Again, a very Korean-centric league. This event did begin at the start of the year when it was announced that GSL cut funding, or GSL, they reduced their prize pool. I think it was by like 80%. It was 70 or 80%, like a massive cut in prize pool at the start of the year. And that is when the community came together, and that is when the initiative was started to really get behind something like a KSL. So yeah, it's really cool to see everyone come together. Really cool to see everyone band together here for the Korean scene. So much love here for our players. And again, we're going to be going on a short break. If you're interested, link is there in the chat. And when we return, we'll have the semis, and then afterwards, the grand finals. See you soon.